I'm good if you are.
I'm good.
We're ready? All right. We're on Artie Quitter Podcast. That's right. We had a big weekend last weekend. We did 4 shows because I had to do my special A-Rod show. And God, do I miss A-Rod. Man.
Where did you get that picture you tweeted?
That was a famous picture. That was
Oh, was it really?
That was on page 6 of the Daily News, like about the Post or something. About I was you know how old that picture is? I was still on Howard because that picture we talked about it on Howard. I remember Howard got mad because Beth thought he was hot, and then they met him in the Hamptons, and Howard was funny. He goes, "Well, listen, I'm no homo, but that was a good-looking guy." It was a long time ago because Howard was still using the word homo. They used to you say that times have changed. That's going to be the theme of my of this podcast. I'm going to attempt to put to bed everything about how the state of comedy and all that shit, because I get asked about it constantly by younger kids who are trying to get into comedy when I do the road. Or I just played Atlantic City. I got to thank we talked about it, but I didn't thank in a serious way the people at the Borgata. Ever since I've been going down there, which has been shit since it opened, they have treated me great, and they usually give me an average about 3 gigs a year. And they pay me very well. They treat me very well. I get 5 suites. I get a beautiful suite for myself. They take care of everybody. It's like I get to be Sinatra for a little while. And the casinos in general are like that. And thank God for them. And thank God for the decade I was on Stern. I still get paid very well to literally go on stage for an hour and act like an idiot.
It so blows away the other casinos in that area. The Borgata's the best.
Well, I'll never forget we had the Stuttering John Crazy Cabbie fight at the Trump Taj in 2002, early 2002. I'd been a regular on the Stern Show for about 6 months, and I hadn't performed yet at the Borgata, but as a comic, pre-Howard, I had played Atlantic City a couple times. And I did Trump. I did a gig at the Claridge. Boy, that was old school, man. You could the dressing room. You could see Willie Mays' cummerbund when he greeted people.
Really?
I think they framed it. I think both Willie Mays and Mickey Mantle framed their cummerbunds at the Claridge. Talk about depressing. A-Rod is basically retiring in a cloud of shame, in a cloud of criminal activities. He I think every at bat he was technically committing 4 felonies with the juice that was in him. Look at his tits in that picture. He has tits. That's juice, man. That is abolic by eyeball, whatever you're shoving your ass in a needle. And I did something to those lips. Those pillowy lips. Dan, your thoughts?
I think he had injections. That's just my theory.
And his lips. And his lips and tits. He had a little Caitlyn Jenner thing going on there. A little Caitlyn Rodriguez. K-Rod. I love it. But he should do a My Pillowy Lips thing. Commercial. That's the My Pillow guy. I'm gonna try to give you an estimate on the budget he put into media commercials. I watch nothing but CNN and Fox News. That's all I watch, and I watch it to get material. Because you get material, you don't even have to change shit people say. These people on both sides, Democrat and Republican. They have these things. I guess they call them surrogates, and each candidate hires them. And they're supposed to, in the wake of anything, agree with their candidate. Again, and the Trump people are faced with a new thing every day. It's so fucking funny. I don't know what they get out of it, but it better be like a lot of whatever they want. I mean, it's like Mr. Trump said he shouldn't be a judge because he's Mexican. The man was born in Indiana. Yeah, but what he meant was, and it's a barrage of Chris Cuomo. The Chris Cuomo thing is just a rope-a-dope. You just let him answer his own questions, and he'll get tired. That's how you fight him. It's like Ali fighting George Foreman. Just let Chris Cuomo answer his own questions, and he'll eventually get tired, and he'll have to throw a commercial. What did he mean by this? He meant this. He meant this by this. Was he a Mexican? Sure. Does Mr. Trump know that? Of course not. Is he a racist? No. But what? We'll go to commercial. He just got to come with the right overcross. Boom. That little Mexican chick, Katrina, who works for...
Oh, she's the best.
She does not stop talking in a reign of Trump craziness. And he's being accused of everything. That little Katrina broad. Excuse me, Chris? Excuse me, Chris? No, let me finish. Let me finish. It's amazing. I don't know how people don't get into this. It's so fucking entertaining. These smug fucks on CNN now, who are you fighting for? Of course Trump is just going to eventually look like a blowhard. He's a New Yorker. But the man has done more in his life than any of these idiots have. Chris Cuomo is not only a rich kid, his father was Mario Cuomo. His brother's the governor of fucking New York. I mean, you think he gets a traffic ticket ever? You think he's ever seen a bill for a car insurance company? Do you think Chris Cuomo has ever sat down at a table and said, oh, God, the heating bill's getting up there? No. Power and money. And again, in the words of Howard 15 years ago, no homo, but a good-looking guy. He's got that steroid ass. Sometimes they have him standing up, and he's got that steroid ass that like pops out like a fucking linebacker.
And he likes the fast cars and the ladies in the Hamptons.
How do you know that? What is that voice you do? What is that voice Dan does? It is so creepy. He likes the voice in the Hamptons.
I showed you that article.
Yeah, I know, but what is that voice you do? Is that your creepy guy voice?
That's my creepy guy voice.
He's hot though, right? Come on, he's hot. I mean, even I can say that, right? I mean, he's hot.
Chris Cuomo doesn't do it for me.
Who does? Don Lemon? Another smug jerk off. I mean, he probably grew up with cash. Yeah, okay. I was on Don Lemon show with John Fugelsang, who just knows a lot about politics. Oh, those jokes, those political jokes. And these guys, they try to sound so smart. And I guess he is smart. But smart don't equal funny.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I wanted to do Fugelsang and Lang. I was going to let him have it. A political show. But he knows statistics about these people. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. He's writing jokes about balancing the budget. You were trying to do that. I used to do that on Howard all the time. Howard loved that. The voice of that, like, poor man's Robin Leach on VH1 when he talks about the Hamptons people, like the fabulous life. But when Howard and Beth's dog Bianca gets a bath, it doesn't get any bath. No, it gets a bath that costs $30,000. While you're bathing your stupid, ugly dog in regular soap, Beth and Howard's dog Bianca bathes in pearls from Saudi Arabia. Cost $15,000. And then, when Calvin Klein takes a young boy out, it's not just any night out, no. This lucky young hung man off the bus from Indiana just has to blow Calvin and let Calvin blow him, and he gets a Bentley that costs $200,000. Not just any blowjob from a young boy. No, Calvin Klein gets a blowjob that would normally cost $40,000. Howard we used to laugh so because Howard was always on those specials and he hated that guy. So he used to let me do that voice. Just to make the guy I mean, listen, I'm not even exaggerating. That's how much of an asshole that guy sounds like. That's how much of an asshole. Yeah, when Ivanka Trump wants to buy a dress in Southampton, she doesn't get any old dress. While you're at Annie Says with your white trash family, she's buying shoes that cost $400,000. He never says $1,000,000. When Daniel Falato goes out with his friend Harry Shearer, they spend that Simpsons money properly.
Oh, yeah.
Harry Shearer and Judith and Dan always go shopping for the finest clothes. They spend that Mr. Burns money. They bought Judith a brooch that cost $250,000. Or one episode as Mr. Burns. And when Dan Falato wants a windbreaker that says Fox on it, he doesn't want any old windbreaker. He says to his friend Harry Shearer, I can get one for free at Fox. But Harry says, no, I make the real Fox money. I do Abu at the 7-Eleven. When someone thinks that's him instead of Hank Azaria, he gets mad. He spends mad money, and they get a meal that costs 20 grand before tips. And Dan Filato eats like a Chicago gutter snipe. I love that guy. I could do that guy for 4 hours.
When you got stuck at Conan and couldn't join us for that dinner, he got done saying to me, "So I'm just buying dinner for you then?" Great.
Harry Shearer's bought about 400 dinners for Dan Filato. Does Mark Grace buy the dinner? No.
Yeah.
He's batting .332 and leading the league in hits, but Mark Grace doesn't buy dinner. But Dan saw a stripper leaving his bedroom with his Gold Glove Award and got it from the stripper, saving Mark Grace 30 grand. That guy should have announced you and Mark Grace.
Oh, yeah.
Mark Grace walked out naked, and Dan saw him for the first time in 10 years. He's in therapy. The therapy so far has cost him 200 grand. When you see a man's cock, it's not just any cock. It's the cock of the all-star first baseman for the Cubbies. Harry Shearer's wife doesn't spend just any money on booze. Harry was said to have drank over 30 grand worth of beer during the 1984 season. Yes. When Tori Spelling and her girlfriends go out for a night in Southampton, they're in for the whole ragamarole. They arrive on a G6 jet that she bought with Aaron Spelling's third season money from Love Boat. 10-seater, 4 girlfriends equals fun. When they get there, they buy a $200,000 diamond that they eat like fondue with a fork. And they literally shit out 38 grand. One of Tori's best friends from Beverly Hills High accidentally ate the Hope Diamond that Aaron Spelling had bought for about 2 weeks to show off to the whores that were auditioning for Love Boat. One of Tori's bestie friends, who we'll call Tiffany, accidentally ate the Hope Diamond thinking it was a Whittier salad from the Beverly Hills Hotel. She then had to remove it from her colon. They got a doctor. She eventually passed the Hope Diamond like a kidney stone. Before they went out for the weekend on a Friday night, her friend had shit out 700 grand. Yes. I have to physically stop myself from doing that.
You see, the Trump girl was on Geffen's boat over the weekend?
Oh, the Trump girl was on Geffen's boat. I'll tell you what. I know that when we were... this was the oddest thing. Adrian and I, in October, it's when I had to be in the hospital up in Maine. Long story. But before that, me and Adrian went for my birthday in October of, I think, 2013 or something. It was just the two of us. Again, a typical Artie Lang weekend with a chick. Romantic for 2 days. Unbelievable chaos for 2 days. Cut the nurses crying. But the 2 days of romance, we took a private cruise. I took the guy a few dollars, and we took a private cruise around the Maine. I was born October the 11th. Thank you. So it was October, a nice fall day, and there were 2 yachts parked in. I guess rich people park their yachts up in Maine because something with taxes. Who the fuck knows how rich people live? Yeah, one of them was David Geffen. And the other one, I swear to God, this guy said this, Howard Stern's yacht. Now, I knew Howard very well, but, you never know a guy, I guess, especially wealthy people. They do keep a lot to themselves, and they should. Look at me. I'd keep stuff from me. Yeah. There's one of the best exchanges Howard and I ever had on the air. He was mad about something, and just out of nowhere, we sign on in the morning, and Howard goes to me. He goes, me and you never hang out off the show or off the air. I go, what are you talking about? We never hang out. What's your problem? I go, I don't know. I'll hang out with you. You want to hang out? Because I'd like to hang out. I think it's important. We have laughs on the show, and we do a great job on the show. But people always ask me, why don't you hang out with us? And I feel you don't want to hang out with me. I'd love to hang out with you. He goes, great. I go, what are you doing Friday night? He goes, I'm going to the Hamptons. I said, can I come? He goes, no. That's the last we spoke of it. But this guy claimed it was hot. Now listen, it was 2013. By that point, Jesus, I left the show in December of 2009. And because Howard and I were so close, I've seen him once by accident. 7 years ago. 7 years. It's unbelievable, the psychology there. So by this time, I was off the show for 4 years. And, he made in that period of time, I guess, $400 million. You do the math. Whatever, I guess you could have purchased a yacht in that time, because there are tax reasons, too, for that, write-offs and shit. But David Geffen, I think, held the record for the largest private yacht. And it was enormous, Dan. It looked like a ship. Big white yacht. And there was one that looked about 10 feet smaller across the lagoon, or the bay where it was docked, and the guy claimed it was Howard Stern's yacht. Now, the kid running the cruise, here's where Adrian had a good point. He was clearly a fan of mine. He hadn't said anything yet. And when he said that, he looked right at me. Like, what am I supposed to do? Get up and dance or something? In the microphone. It was me and 4 other couples who were heavy hitters. That's right. And so whatever. But I saw Geffen's yacht, and I'm assuming it's the same one. A crew of 40.
Oh, my God.
Now, listen, it's a $200 million price tag to buy it. But anyone who knows boats, that's just to buy it. To buy a $200 million boat, you got to have $400 million because you pay a crew. What do you think that overhead is? A crew of 40, maintain it. There's a captain constantly on call.
Yep, I know of captain on a yacht, and he's always on call.
$200,000. A crew of 40. And how often do you think Geffen's on that fucking thing? You know what I mean? Where were they? They were in Italy or something, or La Paz, or wherever the fuck they were. I saw that story. It was him and what Trump girl? Ivanka? Oh, yeah.
And with Putin's girlfriend, which is formerly...
Vladimir Putin?
Yeah.
His girlfriend, his current girlfriend?
His girlfriend. That was the big, that's why the big story.
His current girlfriend was on a yacht.
Right.
Putin was in Russia snapping the neck of someone who didn't perform well?
His rumored girlfriend was on the yacht.
Who was the rumored girlfriend?
Wendy Dang, formerly Mrs. Rupert Murdoch.
Wendy Dang?
Yes. Wendy Dang.
Is she Chinese?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I guessed that right away.
I think she's Chinese. She's
what about Wendy Dang Lang?
Oh.
Wendy
She's
Dang?
got enough money.
What about that? Wendy Dang Lang. Wendy Dang Lang. That's perfect. Hey, Wendy. Are you listening? What if she's one of our subscribers? She tweets at the Twitter war with Torelli. She's a Twitter war with Vinnie Monroy.
Or she bumps Monica at the stern, at the Artie.
Monica, yeah. Monica's my Wendy Dang.
Yeah.
Wendy Dang Lang. God, that Vinnie Monroy, man, he protects me like a gutter rat. Oh, my God. If he thinks someone's being a little rude to me on Twitter, he goes, fuck you, cunt, I hope you die of AIDS. And he goes, Artie got him, right? High five. Yeah, well, don't say, can we just discuss some of the anger?
I talked to him for 45 minutes today.
Well, we'll get into that later. I don't know if I want to go down that road right now.
No, it was nothing. It was about...
I know, I'm just saying. I mean, exactly what you were starting to say, I don't want to do it. Because we're going to do a Vinnie Monroy. But I love him. I don't want to get him mad.
Neither do I. I don't want to any more songs. They should all be about Mario Bosco.
Wendy Dang Lang. That's what I want to talk about. Wendy, you're listening? See, a girl like her, she's seen a lot in life. You gotta really step it up culture-wise. Wendy, you're a very beautiful woman. Perhaps you'd like some sushi. Do you know the culture people have? Like, I am such a slob. And, I've hung out with very, wealthy people, and you see, and I just have the stuff I probably said that they laugh about. When I was 27, I went to a party in Bel Air. I was the Fresh Prince of Bel Air for a little while. And it was at Quincy Jones, one of his homes or something, and he had a built-in pool, and I yelled out, wow, you have a pool. I said that. I'm gonna repeat myself. In the middle of Bel Air, I yelled out. I was wearing a jean jacket. We're about to shoot a pilot. 3 years before, I was loading a truck in the down neck section of Newark. I was with kids who graduated from Northwestern, their theater club. Phil Lamar went to Yale Drama School. I think Nicole went to Juilliard. Her father was like a councilman in New York. Mary Shear and Phil were both groundlings. Two guys were in Second City. One was Upright Citizens Brigade, and I knew Amy Poehler. I knew the whole brigade. Okay, I'm in Bel Air at Quincy. The guy who produced Thriller, his house. The guy who introduced Ray Charles to Paris, his house in Bel Air. I'm in a jean jacket. I have a Marlboro Red that I'm smoking, and an enormous, like blender-sized Jack Daniels in water. A carafe that I'm drinking with a double straw. I think I asked one of the servants for another straw. And then I asked him for 4 more straws for the Coke I had in my pocket. I was gonna do off the dashboard of my rented Mazda. I turned in the rental car I had for a month to shoot the pilot of Man TV with enough Coke residue on the dashboard, probably to put me away for 3 to 5. Certainly P with I. You know what P with I is, right? Possession with intent.
With intent, yeah.
If you have a son or daughter who knows what that means, you should really just drive them out to like some sort of meadow in Pennsylvania, and then just leave.
Oh God!
Tell him to go out and just tell him you have to try to find something for you. Then when he's out like 50 yards from the car, just speed away, and have your whole life changed. Like he goes back to the old house and there's new people living there. We have no idea. We are the cons.
Yeah.
We don't have no idea. So yeah, in the middle of that, the guy produced Thriller. All those people around me. I'm smoking a Marlboro Red. I'm drunk with a jean jacket, and I say, "Wow, you have a pool." I might have said built-in pool. I might have said, "Wow, you have a built-in pool." Like I'm talking like we had one pool in my. I told you the Testas, Mike and Anthony Testa, Mike and Tony Testa had a pool. And it was an above-ground pool the size of my kitchen table, surrounded by his mother's tomato plants. You got to walk through the tomato plants to get into the pool. So you're trying to get up over into the pool, and his mother is yelling out, who I just passed away, actually, God rest his soul, Mrs. Testa. I loved her. But as you're getting into the pool, she's screaming, "Watch the tomatoes!" And then something in Italian to Tony. Like, "Hey, look, the tomato." And then the grandmother, Nun. You just called her Nun. Didn't speak a word of English. And she would just look at you. She looked like the con wife. Like an Italian version of the con wife. But she could speak. And sometimes she would say, and my buddy Tony would just bust her chops. Hey, no. He would throw Fritos at her. He would throw Fritos.
Oh.
And like a Frito would stick in her hair. She had white hair.
Oh,
and the orange from the Frito would be in her hair.
Oh, God.
And she would go, does that mean kill Tony? Because I hope it does. It's good at the manja. It's good at the manja, the Frito. When the Testas take you to a pool party, it's not just any pool party. It's an above-ground pool party. Why don't you try to get a Marco Polo guy going to Quincy Jones' house in Bel Air? Quincy was so fucking cool. What a fucking cool motherfucker. As cool as you'd think he'd be, because he came from nothing, too. Nada. Self-made, baby. Right into the Sinatra years. Who came from nothing. I was the only one he could relate to on that level, and he liked me. Quincy Jones, after I said that, somehow the guy liked me. Probably because I said that. He doesn't trust anybody else. Think Quincy Jones trusts some jerk off who goes to Juilliard? Man, you're a funny cat. He said that to me. You're a funny cat. And I said, wow, you have a pool. And yeah, he's like, motherfucker, I got a pool. Right? Just, don't say that shit out loud. Hey, I got a pool. I don't say that shit out loud, man. Tell one of these white motherfuckers to get you a drink. The greatest Quincy story, I never really tell that much, but I don't know if you want to. Brando's dead now. He wasn't dead when I was on Howard, but he lived right next to Marlon Brando, and he had a house on the Mulholland Drive. I mean, I don't know where these houses are. You have homes. But within 3 houses, Danny, Brando, Nicholson, Quincy Jones.
Oh, my God.
That's important. So
imagine the women.
No, I know. I said, well, listen to this. I said to Quincy, you talk to Brando? I live right next door to motherfucker. Motherfucker keeps fucking my maids. I go, what? He goes, it's the funniest thing ever. And I'll make my buddy David Herman, I kept kicking his leg. Listen, he's talking again about pussy. That's all he talked about was pussy and the trumpet. He kept going like, yeah, motherfuckers, fucking my man. I'm looking around my main. I need towels. I look outside and the Brando's talking up. I go outside. Hey, Brando, wait till she do the towels at least, motherfucker. Wait till this bitch does the towels before you fuck her. Because Brando loved it. He said he loved that island pussy. And he wasn't talking about Staten Island. He loved that island pussy, man. Yeah, the island Brando bought was not Long Island. He bought an island off Tahiti and just fucked every woman on it. Yeah, the Tahitian women, when I'm shooting a film that's not in Tahiti, I long for Tahiti. I miss it. I miss it so much. And the sun goes down and I hear the Tahitians. And I just pointed a chicken. I fuck her. I think he might have had 40 women. He populated an island. They're all his kids. I did stand up once with Norm Macdonald at a corporate gig out in Palm Beach, and gorgeous. Again, a lot of money. Where Sinatra lived when he died, and Dan, you've been there, right? You went to Sinatra's
twice.
Dan, you describe a great story about that. Sinatra was there, right? And was that with Harry?
No, that was with the first time I went with Ron Santo.
Oh, Santo was
because
the great Cub player. Yeah.
Yeah, the Cubs practiced in Catalina Island. They had a Wrigley Field out there.
Yeah, tell that story real quick. You did when you met him.
There were a couple times that I met him.
Wait, you know what? Let me piss on him.
Okay.
I want to. The trans-operative community. I'm sorry. So I apologize. So by the way, settle in, guys, because this is going to be a long one. It is. I got a lot of stuff, a lot of points I want to make, but as you can see, we're having fun going off on tangents. But so I'll get to my Palm Beach story, but Palm Springs.
Palm Springs.
All right. Please correct me when I do.
He called it the Springs.
Palm Beach is, of course, in Florida, and where Mar-a-Lago is. And Palm Springs is L.A. So what happened? Is this the first time you met Sinatra? You met
second time.
Okay, second time. So what happened?
And I made a huge mistake because the first time we got along really well because I knew the same people that he knew because my dad was a photographer.
Right.
He did a lot of Italian weddings and some of them were. So when I went with Ronnie, I felt I was in with Sinatra.
Again, Ron Santos was an insanely popular third baseman for the Cubs, and he was on that '69 team that almost made it. He was a funny guy.
Italian.
Went in the booth, and afterwards, I lost his leg to diabetes, which eventually took his life.
Lost two, both.
Yeah. Well, and then it's over. So that's Ronnie. Go ahead.
Right. So the second time he asked if Mark Grace and I wanted to go, he called up when the Dodgers came in, and we said yes, and we drove out to Palm Springs, and we got to his house, and he was there, and he was wonderful, and we started talking. He started talking to Mark about how he watches the Cubs on a satellite dish, and he goes, I'm drinking. What do you guys want? And I said a Diet Coke, and the silence in it's like the entire house went silent.
Right.
And I knew Mark wasn't going to drink because he had a game that night. So he goes, you don't
Mark
drink.
wouldn't even have a beer on a game day? Nothing?
No, not
really?
before a game.
No kidding.
No.
Wow.
So
there's discipline, yeah.
And so he had a sunken.
What about pussy before a game?
Oh, yeah.
No, but that's the one they say is worse for athletes.
Oh, no.
Okay.
He didn't care.
Okay, go ahead.
He'd be in the lobby of the hotel and say, let's go up for 10 minutes.
That's good to hear. Go ahead.
So he had a sunken bar, and he had
sunken living room
with a bar, and he had all shot glasses with his number one hits.
Okay, that's amazing.
And after the Diet Coke screw up, I said, okay, what are you drinking? He goes, you know what I drink.
Yeah.
I only drink Jack Daniels. So
Did he really say that?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I said, okay, I'll have a Jack Daniels. And Mark was watching me just drenched in sweat. He's laughing because he knows at some point Sinatra's going to offer him a drink.
Right.
So I said, I'll have, he had a glass with it. He poured a big pour of Jack Daniels.
Right.
And I said, well, I'll take one more for my baby with Jack Daniels in it. And there was he didn't say a word. He just looked at me, and there was silence for about 1 minute. He goes, "That's all you got? That's what you're going to say to me?"
I was about to
I'm
say
like,
that too.
Fuck. And he got a regular glass. He poured it in. He goes, "You're going to drink this." And then he made Mark drink Jack Daniels. And he sat and he actually talked about the team, all the young guys that had come up.
Well, that's right. People followed the Cubs, like
Yep.
from WGN.
Well, he said that he was one of the very first people to have a big satellite dish.
Right.
And
I'm sure he was.
And that's why in Los Angeles, a lot of celebrities are Cub fans, because when you wake up at 10 or 11,
WGN, yeah.
the only live sports on are Cub games.
Well, there you go.
And
that's it, man. It's Sinatra having a drink with Sinatra. I can't even imagine. Like that is you did something that would be on my bucket list. Bucket list. Forget about. I said to the woman the first time I tried AA when I was 27. First time I went to rehab. They preach. You cannot ever drink ever again. And I dead seriously said in a group meeting. I said, well, if I ever meet Sinatra and he wants me to have a drink, I said that. And she goes, what? She said, are you serious? I go, absolutely. I go, one drink Sinatra. Once you have a Jack Daniels, you're going to turn down. And she goes, you're missing the point of the program. It's never ever. But that's the thing. It's just how many people are like that with that kind of charisma. I go out to Palm Springs and when you go out there knowing stuff like that, like Sinatra and stuff, and it is, I guess it could sound kind of pathetic, but when you grow, I mean, me and Danny appreciated that type of show business, which doesn't exist anymore. I guess, one of you younger kids, like it's like meeting, I guess, Justin Timberlake, maybe. I guess is that the same thing? I guess.
I wish I had that awkwardness and silence around Sinatra that I did with Rick Steves, because I feel bad about that joke.
If you told me if you told me you couldn't be in the room with Sinatra, I understand that. I get that. The Rick Steves, God, I'm glad he's dead so he doesn't hear that story. I wish I was dead so I didn't hear that story about Rick Steves. If Sinatra knew the Rick Steves story, I think he would have just punched you in the face. Like he did that reporter.
You would have.
I had to smack him. Because he's very homophobic, I assume. Very homophobic. It's just a different time. But so I go out to Palm Springs, and John Lovitz hung out with this guy who was a fat guy who looked like he was from the islands, and he's he was one of Brando's kids. I didn't know, and they did this joke on me. They said, "Hey, his name? He's a famous guy, Miko. He's actually been in the press. Like he talks to the press when something happens, Brando news wise." And I go, what? He goes, Lovitz and Norm go, Miko's father was in the movie The Godfather. I said, get out of here. He goes, hey, man, they told me your father was in The Godfather. And Miko, who's played the joke before, like, yeah. I go, wow, that's so cool. Thinking his old man was an extra, maybe had one line. Like maybe he's the guy who James Caan says, get off your ass or something. And maybe he's the guy in the toll booth who ducks. I go, who was he? What'd he play? And the guy went, Vito. And I went, Vito. And I started thinking, it didn't hit me. I start thinking, wait a minute. I go, was there another Vito in it? Like a Vito? He goes, no, Vito. I go, Vito, what do you mean Vito? Like I do the math, and De Niro wasn't in the first Godfather, and I think De Niro was 2 years older than him. I said, wait a minute, your father, and they start giggling. I'm like, is your father Brando? I put the Tahiti thing together, and they go, yeah, man, gotcha. His father was Marlon Brando.
You so described him well, because I just seen him. I just saw a picture.
Look at that. Is it Miko?
Yeah.
Yep.
You would never even think.
Let me tell you something. A funny motherfucker. A great guy to grow up with. Like a guy who just never knew his dad. Sort of knew his dad. But, he was very sad. Brando, one of the saddest things about Brando is that beautiful, one of the island girls he had. With one of the island girls. God, did that ex-wife hate him. Some of those that listen to me, Marlon, they play voicemails the ex-wife left.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought chicks got vile with me. Oof. What was her name? Cheyenne? It's Herman Cain. Yeah, I named her. I named a piece of pizzeria. Yeah, I own a pizzeria. And I named Brando's daughter Cheyenne. No, yeah, and she committed suicide. Very sad. I think she became a heroin addict, and but she was stunning looking when she was young. Stunning. And Brando was a bad dad when he was younger, but when all that shit was going down, when that girl's boyfriend got shot by his son Christian, and I don't know who'd do time for killing the kid, you saw all the sadness when he gave the press conferences in Brando's face. You saw probably the regrets about being a better dad, maybe, and the kid Christian seemed nice, but he was clearly fucked up. And the daughter was so mentally, fucked up. She couldn't go to the court, and she was involved. She was a witness to a murder. She couldn't go, which almost ensured her brother going to jail. Right. And Brando was like, they asked him about it. He goes, "She's going through a very hard time," and you see all the pain. You feel, clearly the guy, probably did a lot of shit wrong, and the wife was probably completely justified in being mad at him. But sometimes women don't understand that about men. It's like we're not hooked up right, and we do. You do have feelings that they have about. You are upset that you missed the shower. You are upset that, instead of going to the wedding that you were in for your first cousin, you gave them $10,000. You're sorry, but we don't always. But again, these women want money, don't they? Want money, Dan? Oh, they want money, don't they? They want fucking money. And what do they expect? What do you think? People give it to me? I got to go to Pittsburgh. I have to go to a club called Crackers in Indianapolis and talk to the manager about his new Corvette. I've got to go on a ride with the manager of Crackers in Indianapolis the Saturday afternoon. I have nothing to do. I thought we were going to go to a fucking Pacers game. And then last minute he goes, "Nah, I couldn't get the tickets. I want to show you my Corvette instead." I'm like, "What? Can you take me back to the Marriott? There's a cute chick maybe I could fuck." You know why I could fuck her? Because she wants to get out of Indianapolis. And I'm selling her dreams. Much like Lenny Dykstra. I'm selling dreams, man. That's what Lenny Dykstra was. Dan, remember, he was selling dreams. With no teeth. I'm selling dreams. What are you selling? Dreams. Dreams? Yeah. I have no teeth. When you're selling dreams with no teeth, that's what it sounds like. Yeah, I fuck all these chicks and I sell dreams. Mr. Dykstra, it's me, Amanda. I'm here. Remember we met last night at the Marriott? Yeah. What are you selling? Dreams. And ecstasy. I give you the dream for free. The ecstasy is $40 a pill. What? How much is the ecstasy? Because me and my girlfriend Tiffany, yeah, it's $40 a pill. Can I get the same price as the dreams? Please, Mr. Morphine. He was Mr. Morphine, not sister. Yeah. Oh, God, could you imagine? That's right. They want the money, but they don't understand I got to physically go to Crackers in Indianapolis. And I've got to believe that the guy does pay all of his taxes. I've got to believe he is going to send 10% to my agent. But you're paying me in cocaine. So how... Let's get this... Wait, let's get this... This wasn't, by the way, at Crackers. It was another club down the road. Called Cocaine. Yeah. So how am I going to... You're sending 10% of the cocaine to my agent? How's it working? You're putting cocaine in an envelope? Well, I don't understand. Does he get a line and a half? What the fuck are you talking about? Am I supposed to sell the coke? And then buy my girlfriend's cousin a dress for the shower? What, my life is crazy. Can you shoot me? You said you had a gun. Can you shoot me? Wait a minute. I've got a layover in Charlotte. The man, honey, I can't make it. Why? Well, the man from Crackers said I have a layover in Charlotte. The man from Crackers says what? Put him on the phone. My girlfriend wants to talk to you. Who is this? This is Daddy from Crackers. He's going to be late for the shower. Danny, you could call her a cunt if you want. I'll just pretend I'm against it. By the way, now I'm looking at CNN. Chris Cuomo, is... by the way, would he have this job if his father wasn't Mayor Cuomo? That's all I want to say. He would be the towel guy at a gym right now. Maybe he'd own a few crunches. Or he'd be like executive manager. He's the alternative fucking party guys, the Green Party people. They look like... Let's see what they're saying.
They're odd-looking couple.
Is that Jill Stein?
Yes.
Are they married?
No.
It's a black guy and Jill Stein.
Connecting with each other.
Is it kissing Jessica Stein? Just kissing Jill Stein? Yeah, that's my cousin. It's Herman Cain. Sometimes I can't stop doing Herman Cain either. Yeah. I'm populating Cheyenne with mulatto women, much like Brando did in Tahiti. Yeah, so it's going to be all Herman Cain out of Cheyenne. By the way, guys, this is how fucked up I am. Herman Cain has nothing to do with Cheyenne, I believe. But I just had fun saying Cheyenne, so don't believe, I don't think he's ever been to Cheyenne. But in my stupid bit that I do, we have him in Cheyenne. So the point is this. I really appreciate some of you younger comics who come up to me and say, "Oh, we need advice," and a lot of them have some of the same issues I have, drugs. And they want to get out. What people don't understand is when I was 22, and again, I don't look it, but when I was 22 and 23 years old, I had insane ambition. I wanted to get the fuck out of the life that we had. Like, we were broke, and through no fault of my mom's, my father, did a lot of crazy shit. I loved him to death. I loved him, just the greatest guy. But he took a lot of risks, man. And one day he took a risk of putting a ladder on top of a picnic table, something he did a bunch of times, and the ladder fucking slipped, and he fell 30 feet on his head. And he always thought he'd die in a situation like that. He had life insurance. Who the fuck knows? I don't know if he even had that. But he never saved a dime. Never had any money. Never had credit cards. He was a cash guy, like one of the guys, picture of The Sopranos, but without the fucking mob connections. Although he helped those guys out a little bit too, but he was like Henry Hill. He didn't have they couldn't trace his family back to the old country. And I guess he wasn't willing to, kill a guy in Tampa. Oh, I don't know, my old man. He was a nut. When he passed away, he had $0, and he left my mom with 2 kids. We were both teenagers, and nothing. My mother is a superhero. She's just stayed strong there, and so I had insane ambition. But the one thing I wasn't, and I feel for you guys. And this is true of a lot of people in this country. So, we're talking about what these politicians are saying in these speeches. They're probably bullshitting, and that's reprehensible to give people false hope. Like, Trump is saying shit it all seems nice. You just want him to pull through and do it. And Hillary, whatever, she's a politician. Well, who's the better of the two? They're both, I don't know if I think either one of them are decent people. If I had to pick one, I bet Trump is a better human being because he's been a politician for less time. These kids have parents who are both heroin addicts, a lot of these kids, I mean. And I didn't have that, man. You have it worse than me, if that's the case. You do. And I fucking feel for you. Because you're coming home and they're gone. They're not, there's no one in there. You look behind their eyes if they're really doped up like that, and there's nothing there. You don't have parents. And it's almost like you're probably taking care of them a lot of the time. And you repeat that behavior, and a lot of times now, you and maybe a sibling are hooked on it. And that's what I see. I wasn't a heroin addict. I was a bad alcoholic. And, I somehow, wheeling and dealing, developed a bad cocaine habit, which is why I took to L.A., which is why I was out of it. I tried to come off coke out there, and I could not do it. The crash was insane. The depression was insane. And then I had an idea of I'll just keep doing the coke and I'll get through these seasons, and then I'll just go to like the Mayo Clinic or something. The Keith Richards get your blood like in Switzerland. I don't know, whatever he was doing. Like, that was realistic. What am I talking about? That went through my head, and maybe I'll stop saying stuff like you have a pool. Wow. And Quincy knew. You're not fooling anybody after a while. But these poor kids I see around the country, they don't have the ambition I had because, I don't know. I don't know if I was talented. I still don't know if I'm talented at all. It was a con. It was a big con. I had no education. I mean, because a college, high school diploma, that's all. And I had to go to summer school to get that. I lost it 2 days later. I don't know where it is. We needed it for something, right?
Yeah.
I don't know where it is. I have no idea where my high school diploma is. It's worthless anyway. I got it in August. By the way, I just put out on Twitter, I'm calling it Washed Up Wednesdays. 31 years ago tonight, me and my girlfriend, Sue, were arrested for attempted bank robbery.
Wow.
31 years ago tonight. I'm not even a little bit kidding. You robbed the bank? No, I tried to rob a bank is what happened. I misspelled the note. I gave a hold-up note to a teller. I was out of my mind. She just pressed the silent alarm. And me and my girlfriend she knew nothing about what I was doing. We casually got in her, I didn't have a car. We got in her father's Ford Granada.
Oh, I remember.
Remember Ford Granadas?
Yes.
I thought the country Granadas were where they made it. Those cars. And I thought that's why we were fighting that war. For the Fords. The Ford Granadas. So we leave and a SWAT team shows up. We missed a SWAT team by 10 seconds. And we had a surrender. They couldn't believe it. I said it was a joke. They thought I was an idiot. We both got arrested for attempted bank robbery. Her father was a barber, Italian barber. And I thought he was connected. I was so fucking scared. I was more scared of him. I said to the cops, they kept me overnight, 2 nights in jail. And I said to the cops, as one detective, I said, dude, I don't care what happens to me. Throw the book at me. Put me next to Manson and San Quentin. You cannot let anything happen to that broad. Nothing. And he got it. He understood it. Like, all right, well, they dropped all charges because she did nothing. And I got knocked out of a disorderly conduct. Holy shit. I sat down with her Italian father. Some of you newer fans might not know this, newer subscribers. Like I see on Twitter. I don't know if Vinny Monroy knows this whole story. Broken English. When you rob a bank, you no take my daughter. I'm not kidding. He sounded, when you rob a bank, like it's so fine to rob a bank, we get it. We're Italians, we're adults here. But you don't take a broad. And he was right. And I said, Mr. Mr. P, you realize I didn't rob a bank. No. And here's where the man was very perceptive. I guess he just knew human beings. He should have been my guidance counselor. He said, no, Artie. I know you. You're a craze. He pointed to his head, where your brain would be, and said, you're a craze. You're a craze. He's calling me a lunatic. And he was so fucking right. And I apologized. I told him that's an insomnia. I said, but this is my youngest son, Michael, is forced to leave this country. And we were fine. We had a hug, and the mother gave me a look like, I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah. Like Broadway Danny Rose.
What did your mom say?
Well, my mother was hysterical. Not with laughter. My father was laughing. My father came down to the cops and explained to the cops, blah, blah, blah. I had to go. And my mother was just, she didn't know what to say. She goes, I don't, what's going to happen to you? My mother kept saying that. What's going to happen to you? And I should have, if I had a crystal ball, I would have pointed to Dad and said, what's going to happen to him? He fell a month and a half later. That's what my poor mother got. That's what she got for being a great woman. Christ. He was a quadriplegic, and we were on welfare 2 months later. How the fuck did we get? I'm not giving me any credit. I deserve none. Strong women. Strong Italian women. My mother and sister. God, they handled that so impressive. I mean, you know how many people turn to the bottle because, they twist an ankle or something? My mother pulled herself up and I got a fucking job as a secretary, and it was off to the races. Life just got very dark. And I wasn't helping at all either. Every vice on the planet. So that was my struggle. But I wasn't a heroin addict. I wasn't an opiate addict like some of you poor kids are. That's the point I'm trying to get to. Is really a bad epidemic. And, because the difference with opiates is when a celebrity dies of it, like Prince, it's in the Philip Seymour Hoffman, it's in the news for a while, but then it goes away. Believe me, I don't know. I'm going to sound like a crazy old man with crazy fucking conspiracy theories, but how does this dope get in the country? Of course, the country, the fucking U.S. gets a cut. The government gets a cut. Why do you think all these famous guys, what they get Wesley Snipes on? Fucking the tax evasion. What they get Capone on? Capone would shoot people in front of the police chief's house. But what'd he do? One couple of years, he forgot to give the government their cut. Bye. Here's Alcatraz. 11 years. That's all they ever got him on. He didn't give the government their cut. So El Chapo and Afghanistan and everybody who makes the fucking poppy and the blowzine and blah, blah, blah. They come over the borders somehow with plane full of powder. And somebody may not be wearing a uniform. It's not that obvious, I'm sure. Somebody who represents our government points to a trunk and says, put our cut right there. Billions of dollars. And that's the Taliban, or, the oil, a lot of money. A lot of money. As James Caan would say, a lot of money in that black liquid. But what else does he say? A lot of money in that white powder. There's probably more money in that white powder. The Taliban are drug dealers. Heroin, baby. If I can talk like my African-American brothers and sisters. And the street slang, Dan, that I know you don't know. Heroin. For some reason, they take the I out, and they sound great. Why can't white people be that cool? White people never thought about taking the I out of heroin. We have to say the whole fucking word, and we sound dorky. And some black guy just goes, heroin. Man, wow, that's so cool. Why do you think our women want to sleep with them? Because they're cool. Our women want to sleep with them because we say the entire word heroin. And we sound dorky. They say heroin. And before you know it, you've got the Kardashians. Lamar Odom goes, heroin. That white basketball player says heroin. And Chloe's like, I want to be with the guy who says heroin. I told the story of the great rapper, Chub Rock. Good friend of mine. We hung out one night. Here's how a black guy asked the question. I'm going to give you a difference. I've said this before, but again, we have new subscribers. It's one of my more sparse stories. You don't hear it a lot. It's like the episode of The Odd Couple with the big fat guy who plays King Tut on Batman and Robin. You never see that episode. This is the story that's a version of that episode in my life. I don't tell it a lot, but I should. Chub Rock, Orlando Jones, and myself go out 1996, the summer in between the first and second season of Mad TV. Orlando came to visit me, and we went to stand-up spots together. I was working all over the city, and Chub Rock lived at the Chelsea Hotel. The Chelsea Hotel, legendary place where, classic writers, and Dylan lived for a while. There's a rumor Dylan wrote positively 4th Street there. I don't know. But the legendary place that's still standing, by the by. The poet Dylan Thomas. You young people, Google him. He was living there when he drank himself to death at the White Horse Tavern on Hudson Street in the Village.
Been there.
Right. Great place. Great place to get a pinty and shots. And, that's where the poet Dylan Thomas drank himself. A lot of people think it was in the Chelsea Hotel. It wasn't. It was at the Hudson, but he was living at the Chelsea.
I did not know that.
Yeah. He was living at the Chelsea Hotel. It's a plaque. Could you imagine? The plaque says, when Dylan Thomas drank himself to death, he was living here. The rumor is, Dan, he had 17 vodkas and a couple of shots of whiskey. And I've had nights I double that. I guess he was a little fruity English guy. Now, Irishman. And Norm MacDonald, his kid is named Dylan after Dylan Thomas. He didn't go the Bob Dylan route. But Chub Rock was living there when he had a hit out. He had one big hit called Treat 'Em Right. 1990, Chub Rock on the scene. Treat 'Em Right. Talk about ladies. He was living there. He gets out. He was friends with Orlando, and I was going to meet him, and I love that song. And here's how a white guy asked the question, do they have any red meat at this restaurant? Because Orlando picked the restaurant we're going to eat at, and he was a vegan. And both me and Chub Rock, you'd guess what we were worried about. We didn't want it to be a vegan restaurant. So I get in the car with Orlando, and as we're driving to pick up Chub Rock, I, the dorky white guy, say, hey, do they have meat at this restaurant? And Orlando goes, yeah, you'll be fine. Chub Rock gets in the car. Here's how a black guy says it. Here's why our women want to sleep with them. He gets in and goes, yo, they got any food for carnivores up in this motherfucker? Oh, my God, I almost blew him. It was the greatest thing ever. And then Orlando said something like solid. See, I'm making that up. That was like Earth, Wind, and Fire in 74. I don't know what he said. But he said affirmative, like something that black people say affirmative. And they change it. The slogans change, and they all know it. Is there a national meeting where they go solid is now yeah or something? I know. And the white women hear that. There was a white chick in the car. I was dating this girl. She heard him say that and was like, God. The rest of the night was, her in the bathroom with Chub Rock for a while.
Oh, God.
I'm kidding. But that's why, because they're just cooler. That was Jimmy the Greek, I think, meant that with the extra bone in their ankle. Not nothing to do with sports. It makes them cooler. But Chub Rock, by the way, we hung out all night. And, we had him on the show, the old show.
DirecTV?
Oh, what a great guy. We had so much fucking fun that night. And then here's how the night ended. I'll give you how the night ended. Orlando hooked up with a white chick. And he wasn't in the car. It's 4:30 in the morning, and he had to go lay down some lyrics for a fellow rapper. Because that's when you're at the studios. Because there's no time. You get it real cheap. Because it's overnight. 4:30 in the morning. I'm driving a Thunderbird. I'm going back to Jersey, and I drop him off, and he goes, "You want to come in?" In hindsight, maybe I would have come in. We were out of coke, and so I said to Chub Rock, "No, I'm not going to come in." He goes, "All right, nice meeting you." I said, "Nice meeting you." He slapped my hand. He goes, "All right, I'm going to go drop some lyrics for this nigga." A white guy would have said, "I'm going to go sing on this guy's record. He's a friend of mine." All right, I'm going to drop some lyrics for this nigga. I'm going to go drop some lyrics for this nigga? I mean, God. I might have blown him. I'm trying to think. Did I? No. Yo, they got any food for carnivores up in this motherfucker? Up in this motherfucker. It's fantastic. And I'm looking at Jill Stein right now. Jill Stein is, and if there's a black guy next to Jill Stein, who is he, Dan? Is he the other Green Party guy? The black guy?
I think that's her vice president candidate.
Oh, he don't say shit. Mammy ain't letting him say shit. She's doing all the talking. She's yapping. What is she saying?
Before we're done.
What if I put the mute off and she said, "Any food for carnivores up in his mouth?" This guy, look at how mad he looks. He looks like one of those really smart black guys who's annoyed by everything white people say. You know what I mean? He's like, yeah, no, you're wrong again.
Nuclear weapons now, not moving forward.
Oh, wait, you got to pause for something.
$1 billion program.
Chris Cuomo's looking like, I don't know, I've never paid for anything. Has Chris Cuomo ever paid a bill? Dan, your thoughts?
Probably.
With his own money.
Yeah, no.
No.
We got to talk to Natterman about him.
About who?
Chris Cuomo.
Why?
Well, don't
Dan
you remember?
Natterman?
Yeah. Don't you remember he said that when we were sitting here that one day?
I
He
don't
went
listen
to
to
college.
Natterman. I don't listen to Natterman.
They went to college together.
They did?
Yeah.
I don't think they hung out together. Dan Natterman, every once in a while, it might have been the volleyball they used.
Okay, this guy's name is Ajamu Baraka.
Okay, he's talking. Wait a minute. Oh, wait, is he thinking Baraka's going to get him elected, that name?
You can't talk about
here he is.
concern about
Just a black
the
guy.
possibility of imminent attacks in the U.S. and support policies that created a
Look, it says, would you close U.S. bases with abroad?
Trent.
Would you vote for abroad? No, it's abroad. Would you vote for abroad? That's what my Uncle Sonny would go. It says it right there, when I vote for abroad. Yeah, food for carnivores. So, again, I didn't have... I feel so terrible for these guys. Their parents, both of them. I went to an AA meeting in Pittsburgh, and at a midnight meeting last time I was there, because I've said it before, back in February, I fell off the wagon for a couple of weeks, and it had to do with a chick who I used to date. And again, the thing I hate bringing up to people is when people think of me and drugs and partying, a lot of people remember, the bad shit that happened. And that was, that bad shit only happened like at the end. I had a lot of fun, man. I had a lot of fucking fun. I banged chicks that are way out of my league. Way out of my league. We went to Vegas 3 times with the Stern Show. 3. And In the 3 times, I probably fucked 30 chicks and got blown like 75 times. This one strip club just said to me, and a couple of people I won't talk about. But look, if you're stressed out, come here. Like it was like a cup of coffee. We'll blow you. And I went a couple times. I ran across the highway, and like I left my wallet there, and they dropped everything. They dropped everything and blew me. I had a hard on while I was going over the divider. Again, I'm not saying I'm impressive like a ladies' man. I was on the Stern Show. I mean, again, I was the guy like Freddie. Wasn't on the mic a lot, and Freddie wouldn't want it anyway. Freddie had Freddie Norris had a great marriage. Fred's wife is great. I love his wife's name is Allison. Just a sweetheart, and Fred is the best husband ever. Like brings home the bacon, and Fred wouldn't even think about betraying his family like that. So no women, because he was married, and they had the most adorable daughter who probably like 14 now. Probably that's amazing, gorgeous little girl that Fred just doted over, and so Fred wasn't doing anything. Benji wasn't really that famous, had no money anyway, and Howard was by the last 5-6 years was very loyal to Beth, and that is the truth. I can't even wink at Danny in a knowing wink here. I mean, because I never saw Howard do anything, where he was cheating on a woman. So basically, at these events, I was Howard. I was the other host. The other host was a woman. Baba Booey was married. I was the single guy who would, do some drugs with the strippers without making them feel guilty. So I'm not saying I was some master ladies' man. It was shooting fish in a proverbial barrel, and I had a fucking blast. I did, but I always ended up paying for it because I go too far. I made a lot of money. You could call it where I come from. I made a fortune, and then I lost it. Then I made another one. Technically lost it. Now I'm doing all right again. But, so the drug thing is something, if you have that issue, you got to resolve it yourself, man. The opiates are the devil. Coke can be the devil, but usually because you crash a car, it's a social drug. And you can get off it if for 3 days you stop, you're fine. Heroin, I'll try to be cool and say heroin. That's it, man. Even 3 days in, you're done. You're in a living hell. The withdrawals are insane. So if that's going on with your parents and you, I just feel for you guys. I did not have that. In my early and mid-20s, I was insanely ambitious. I wanted to get me and my mom and my sister out of that hell. I don't blame my dad, but that's when he really left us. Didn't mean to, but that's when he left us. Broke, and we were technically still kids. My mother, a different mother. I'm not sitting here. No way. My sister is very independent. I bet she would have eventually done all right. But a different mom, I ain't here. No fucking way. That's an impressive woman. And my sister was very independent. So, and somebody up there is really looking out for me. Like, the only thing I can tell these people is somehow, if there's a higher power, make a deal with them before you're born. Like, look, you're not going to be particularly talented, good-looking, smart, anything like that. But you're going to be a risk taker, and you're going to roll the dice, and the dice are going to hit for you. But you're going to fuck it up. And for some reason, I'm not going to let you crash and burn. You're going to crash. I won't let you burn fully. You're going to burn a little. And that's what my life has been. It's almost like, I've had a prescription for fun and happiness and success and what I always wanted to do. I'm doing exactly what I wanted to do. I remember being 19 years old, and Gilbert Gottfried was killing on the Howard Stern show and during the news. And I physically said out loud to my friends, I would love to make a living being funny on the Howard Stern show. I was that specific. It happened because I just rolled the dice. I took a risk. And I had a prescription, and it kept getting refilled. Okay, you blew it again? We got a refill. Now, I'm 48. I'm waiting for when I go to the drugstore, and they go, we got no refills left. Artie, we got no refills. And whoever that higher power is you made a deal with is like, you need another one? Another refill? What happened now? Can't you fucking control yourself? But I had a blast. And I had a couple of very good, I'd say about 4, like I said, relationships with women that I could have seen it going to the next level. And it should have. Maybe it shouldn't have. I don't know. But those are hard too. One was only about 9 months, and that was very difficult. The last 2 were 5 years each. Brutal. And one was in my 20s, and she, I had puppy love with the chick I robbed the bank with. But after the bank robbery, forget it. I blew that one. That was the first refill. Yeah, but the last one was bad. Full year it took to get over the last one. Full year. Because there's emotions. And you get angry, you write, so if you're creative, you're trying to write material. I don't know if it's good or not. Who the fuck knows? But the last year, that refill has been amazing. Amazing. And I got to say, we joke around like crazy, but my boy here, Danny Filato, is like a brother to me. Absolutely like a brother. He is family to me. I mean, and I don't know why he's in my life. Like he was part of the last refill in a way. I not to be creepy, but I was sent a brother with insane loyalty on a level I can't even tell you, and a guy who just he wants me to be all right, and
Your story isn't finished yet.
Well, yeah, we'll see.
This is going to be a big couple months for you.
Well, again, like what's happened in this last year, the next few months into autumn in 2017 are going to be really big. And look, it might not do much, but the fact that I had a shot at it, Judd Apatow, there's an audition, and a guy like that says, I'm in your corner. Judd has sent me a couple of texts that, he's not a guy wears it on your sleeve type of thing, but after we shot this pilot, him and Pete Holmes, who, 2 insanely nice guys, and we don't have the same sense of humor a lot of the times, but they saw my angle and knew how to use me right in this show, and holy shit, were they good to me. And basically, close you can get to a regular in an HBO series. I mean, that's amazing. That Apatow's doing. And, Judd is, he got to know me a little bit and sees my demons and what could happen. And he read my book and has sent me a couple of texts that, one day I'll tell him, in the right way. But texts that saved my life. Like, very complimentary, over complimentary about, your talent and acting and stuff. You could tell it's just that he knew I needed it. And he wanted to let me know you're still good. You can still do this. And Pete Holmes the same way. And they're never arrogant about it. They always say, no, you helped us, Especially Pete. He's always like, no, buddy, you helped me. And I want to do well for them. And make sure you root for them. And now where does that come from? That audition came out of nowhere. Like out of nowhere. Like Danny, like I say, you got to know. I'm getting better at noticing the good stuff, and you got to try to make sure you treat that stuff well, and not take it for granted. And I try to tell these kids, you would have to have my luck. There's no way I could tell you. You'd have to have my luck. I technically am living in an apartment that has the best view of New York City on the planet Earth. I mean, honestly, there's no better view of New York than how do I have this? How the fuck do I have this? How did I go from welfare after my father's a quadriplegic and dies and my mother's secretary crying, no money, to this? I don't know. It's been a haze. And if I didn't have my demons, and here's the point, the way comedy has changed. If I didn't have my demons, I wouldn't still need to stress about work so much. If I was willing to live a certain way, I'd be fine, but I like living my way. People have tried to change me. Doesn't work.
Oh.
Yeah. I like living my way, but my way costs money. My way costs a lot of scratch. If I had one hobby, I'd be on welfare. If I skied or something. You know, I played tennis. I really liked art or something. I liked, you know. No, but I have my joys. And and I like to be I like being just, you know, by myself a lot. Which is hurtful with a woman. Because women want to do stuff, you know. No, I don't want to do that, no. There's an exhibit of what? No. You go see it. I'll pay for it. I'll buy the exhibit. You need money to live like an ass. I'm an asshole. What I'm trying to get at is I'm a jerk off. I'm an asshole. And you want to live like an asshole, it's expensive. Got to throw a lot of money at the asshole lifestyle.
You're not an
I sure.
asshole.
Well, I mean, in a lot of ways, I am. But it's expensive. I should write a book, The Asshole Lifestyle. The way you wear your hat on your asshole.
Yeah, I've seen you around your girlfriends. You've treated them very, very well.
Well, yeah, no, in certain ways. But they pay for it. They pay for it in the bedroom. Was it worth it? Was it worth that vacation in Miami? You have a broken rib and you're crying. 4 seconds ago, you didn't have a broken rib. Now you have a broken rib.
Oh, God.
You're crying. It was 4 seconds. They know when it's over. When they hear this. When I come, it sounds exactly like Kent Dorfman throwing up on Principal Warren. Dean Wormer. I can't believe I came on Dean. That's why I sound like. And then sometimes, unless I'm in the vagina, you hear on her back the same sound.
Oh, God.
I'm kidding. That's just the Russian stripper looking like Pete Rose. Me and my last girlfriend were broken up for a while, and I banged the stripper that looked like Pete Rose. Smoking hot body. Were you at that when I pulled her out of the lace? Remember that?
No.
You were at the gig when you remember the bed was broken. Oh, forget it. No, it's right. Let's move on. The bed was broken. My girlfriend came back and said, "Why is the bed broken?" I said, "You know me. I just flopped down." I never got. Listen. We were broken up, and when a chick who looks like Pete Rose gets on top, listen, you better have cement. So I'm 48 years old. I'm type 1 diabetes. I don't know what I'm doing. But, at the end of the Stern Show, I should have known this. Like Howard is a genius on a couple of levels. He's able to see which way the wind's blowing in comedy and the world, and he can adjust. He assimilates, and he's funny in every one of them, in every one of those worlds. But I was kind of foolish in the sense that, as a fan, I was always in one mode. Like, I was always in that rebellious. I grew up with Howard crucified by the FCC, the rebellious mode. So, fuck the world, it's us. Like, he used to say, Drew Barrymore's life would be perfect if it wasn't for us. Everyone kisses. In other words, saying everyone kisses her ass except this show. We're real about it. We play those. Robin plays those fucking sound clips of them sounding like idiots, and we say they're idiots. Howard says you're an idiot. I used to love that part of the show. Now, other people might do it, but they're, ensconced in St. Louis. Howard's like an A-list celebrity saying, you're idiots. And I had so much fun in that mode. And what happened was, I think towards the end, I always wondered, it's like, for a guy like that, and again, fans ask me this, I don't know why I feel it necessary to explain it to the fans about what happened, because they went over there, they paid, they're loyal. As Howard developed fans, it got nothing to do with me. I mean, he developed fans that are as loyal as you get. And now an offshoot of that is they're still loyal to me. I mean, my fans on Twitter, my followers, they're my family. I love you guys. I really do. Like, you guys are good to me. You're protective of me, and I cherish it. And I still make quite frankly, a boatload of money on the road doing stand-up. The kind of money I made in the night the other night at the Borgata is like, who makes that? Act like an idiot. It's because these fans are unreal, and again, I have to thank Howard for that. He accepted me into that world. But what happened was I was there too long in a way. And I'm usually 2 years and out with a job. 2 years on Mad TV, 2 years on the Norm Show, 2 years of making movies. I was a longshoreman for 2 years. 8.5 years on Howard, and it's like I'm getting a little restless. The greatest job ever began. But you see, Howard changed like he always does, and I can't assimilate like that. I'm not good at it. And I'm not talented enough to become the guy who doesn't goof on Jennifer Aniston. I can't make that change. Howard can do it effortlessly. And I think what happens is, the cat's out of the bag. There is this woman, Marcy Turk, who's there, and, she's shaping what goes on, and Howard loves her, and if Howard loves her, I'm sure she's got something going on there. But I think he had read that book, Getting Things Done, that she was involved with, before I left even. And I think he really, in his head, was going, okay, I'm going to pivot this show, and I'm going to be as honest as I've ever been. I think he thought, I'm going to pivot into this the way Trump can't pivot. You see what Trump, that's a good point. Trump can't pivot into a good guy.
Right.
I'm
right.
Trump. No, I can't do it. Trump is being honest with everybody. Guys, I tried. I cannot do it. And I can't either. I'm always going to be the guy going, 40 grand. But I might be doing that about someone he's friends with. He went into another stratosphere, man, and you can't hate him for that. I certainly don't. It's every man for himself. Howard went into another level a radio guy has never gone to. He's beyond a list. He's way up there. And, I see people blame Beth on the fucking internet. God, I'm so protective of Beth because, I know her and I hung out with her. She could not be a bigger sweetheart. She treated me so well, Beth. And especially my first girlfriend, Dana. Generous. Her and Howard, like I've said this before, obviously. I mean, it's kind of obvious. Generous with parties and first class all the fucking way. And Beth was very kind to me. And I really love her. And Howard, I was very close with them. And everything that happened was my fault. So on the internet, people trying to drum up this stuff. She's just a nice person. She's not. She didn't have the problems with me and Howard and Benji and Fred had. Like we're comedy guys because we were angry about not being with people like Beth. But she's not snobby like that. She accepts you, and they have a great relationship. And Beth, is not. She's not like us, mean comedians. And, I think what would happen was she would make friends with people, and Howard wanted to assimilate because he should have. It's time to smell the roses a little bit. And I don't blame him for that either. But what happens is someone like me, I can't assimilate like that. It's like, and it's a character flaw. And I think after Howard read that book, I think again, this is all theory. He wanted to pivot into another type of show, the show you hear now. And he did it. He did it, but the transition was going to have some growing pains. And he got through it. People on Reddit giving you shit. Who cares? Does anybody think he cares about that? He's just damn good on the radio. That's always going to be the same thing. And believe me, my problem was not Howard. My problem was I was a heroin addict. And he did as much as he could for me till the end. So you go to rehab, you come back, you got a job. But what more is the guy going to do? I had to deal with my shit. And it was not his problem. So you're looking at a very odd problem he had with me because I think he knew I wouldn't have fit into the show. And quite frankly, I wouldn't have wanted to do it. I would have been very awkward. So, now what? Because the show he wants to do, I don't fit into. I don't. And people ask if I'm sorry I'm not on the show. I'm sorry I don't see those guys. They were like another family to me, I guess Gary and I have had, people think we've had words and fights. Gary has been nothing but nice to me, too. Gary's a big reason I got that show. They were a family to me. Freddie, I fucking love. Benji, I love. All those guys I talked about. Robin was so sweet to me. And, I missed them as a family. But that show, I couldn't do that show. I couldn't do the show where I keep a straight face when we talk about Ellen dancing. I can't do it. And I'm not insulting it. I can't do it. I'm telling you, I would seem ridiculous. I mean, me going, yeah, I do look forward to Ellen dancing. People would laugh in my face. I would laugh. I would go, yeah, Ellen. Ellen got a taste of her own fucking medicine, by the way. Did you see my Twitter at all today?
Yes.
She got her own taste of her PC bullshit. That this, what's the guy's name? Hussein Baka?
The athlete.
Saddam Hussein, the runner.
Usain Bolt.
Insanely black. Like very, very, like I call it DCT. No, I call it DCT, Don Cheadle taint. Black. Yaphet Kotto black. Very black. So Ellen, I don't know what she was thinking, by the way, because the optics, as we say. Not good. Ellen tweeted a picture of her insanely white skin and blonde hair, in a white jacket. She superimposed her sitting on the black guy, the runner, and him running. It looked like a slave owner saying, "Get me to the water pond." It looked like the slave owner's daughter said, Daddy, why can't the slave take me to the water pond? I got to meet Becca Sue. We're getting a piece of chitlin for the night's party. Daddy, I can't be late. Why can't you ask one of these no-good darkies? Why can't you ask one of these fast darkies to let me sit on them and run? I put on my protective darky pants. You know those pants that you had made that don't let darky sweat get through to human sweat? You know, I have human sweat and they have darky sweat. I won't get it on me. I've been doing this. I'm a little girl riding side saddle on some of them. You taught me how to ride side saddle on several black people. Yeah, Daddy, why can't I ride? That's what it looked like. Daddy, it's Miss Ellen. And the father's like, now, Lady Ellen, I've told you 1,000 times how you got to, you can't be too firm with slow-minded darkies. I won't be too firm. You know I love the darkies. The darkies love me. Now, don't let them love you too much. Oh, no, I would never saw that. You know, we had that sort of brown baby that looked like you a couple of years ago. I know, Dad. I don't know what happened there. That's crazy. Miss Sue Ellen down at the other plantation, she does that sometimes. Well, that's bestiality, you know that, right? Of course, Daddy. I would never do it. I would never have sex with a darky. Well, then I guess I'll get a darky up here. Hey, get the house darky. Now I got an assignment for you, Z-Ron. I want you to go get a slow-minded darky to let Miss Ellen here sit on him, and he's going to run her down to the water pond and get some giggum. A piece of giggum for Emmylou for tonight's party. Yes, dear Matt, you're absolutely there. Yes, Master DeGeneres. You got it, Mr. DeGeneres. I'll go get it for Mrs. DeGeneres, Miss Ellen. Yeah, don't stop talking. Just go get it. I'll get some good darky for her. Here, this darky is Hussein. Say something, Hussein. We haven't. Now, wait a minute. You haven't given him his proper name yet? No, he won't take the proper name. We're going to have to whip that out of him like we did with Mr. Toby. So what do I call him? I refuse to call him one of those disgusting African names. Just call him, I don't know, SMD. What's that? Slow-minded darky. Okay. Hey, SMD, get over here. My name is Ellen. We don't have to talk or anything. I'm just going to sit on your head. Let me sit on your shoulders. One day, when they invent cameras, I'm going to have a talk show. By the way, I would never, I told my daddy I would never have sex with you. But I would have sex with your sister. I promised Daddy I wouldn't have any slow-minded darky penis. But I would love slow-minded darky pussy. I don't guess it, Miss Ellen. You's not one of those, you know what I'm saying, carpet baggers. No, carpet bagger is much different. You're a carpet muncher. Exactly. Now, don't tell Daddy. Well, I sure as hell won't. You want me to get my sister's pussy? Well, you can't just bring the pussy here. I love your entire sister. If you could tell this slow-minded dark me to just, I'll get on top of his head, and he'll just run me over to the barn, and then bring your sister in, and tell your sister, does she wash down there? Well, unfortunately, your daddy don't give us much for bathing up premises. Well, we're gonna get her some nice clean water, and I'll have the house darky get some soap. Oh, house darky, yeah. Can I get some nice soap? That soap we brought back from Paris. Absolutely, and some of those beads and pearls, and get a torch. We're gonna shave her. Wants me to get a new razor? You get a brand new razor that's sharp. Some boiling water. All right. Now, what I'd like you to do is shave your sister's pussy. I'd like you to wash it. All right, Miss Ellen. You got it. We're going to wash it up nice for you. Don't cry, girl. You're going to have sexual intercourse with one of the DeGeneres folk. You're going to have sexual intercourse with a human. Okay, guys, turn away. Oh, my. Look at that. It is a very different color, isn't it? No. I think is that purple? All right, guys. She comes out like wiping her mouth. All right, guys, I've had my say. My God, my sister's smiling for the first time in her life. How old is your sister? She's going to turn 9 next week. Oh. I love single-digit darkies. She's a single-digit darkie? Yeah, but and she's going to be a single-digit darkie for another year on a few days. Oh, that's wonderful. I'll meet you at the barn 3 times a week. The house jockey will give the schedule, okay? Absolutely. Now, what's in it for us tonight? I don't want to sound too greedy, What's in it for you? How dare you? What do you want? I don't know. Maybe could we eat twice a week? All right. Fine. I'll bring you some grain. Twice a week. Are you allergic to gluten? Our whole family's allergic to gluten. All right, now take me down there. I went off on a tangent, but that's what it looked like. Ellen DeGeneres is sitting on the head of the... What the fuck was she thinking? Even I was offended. So she got Ellen got a little blowback from a little something I've encountered. The PC Police Department. Motherfucker. They got mad at her. And she's trying to say, oh, guys, why are you so uptight? Yeah, exactly. Fucker. Oh, I hate her. Oh, she's so evil. You could tell she's just evil personified. Disgusting. By bossing people around. You're so lucky. You're so lucky. Told everybody she was a lesbian at the exact right timing. That's when you be a 1996ish man. I'm gay. Feel sorry for me. My show got canceled because I'm gay. Yeah, like Hollywood is fucking against gays. Are you kidding me? And instead of, being sent back to the fucking crackers in Indianapolis with me, she gets her own talk show. Now she's got a fucking $500 million and Portia de Rossi's twat. Some of this isn't a joke. It's just pure anger. But, yeah, that's what she looks like. I mean, Dan, wasn't that odd? She's sitting on the guy's head. So, she got judged. I guess she deleted it, but I took a pic. I tweeted out Ellen's horrible at dancing. That's why I can't take seeing her dance. But you know what? If she just figured out a way to be good at dancing. If she sits on a black guy while he's dancing. It was like, Ellen dancing? No. Ellen sitting on Usher while he's dancing? What channel? That's appointment television. And then every day she's on Usher. She's on Puff Daddy and he's dancing. Now you look like you're dancing. Oh, God, the world is fucked up. They wouldn't show the picture either. They wouldn't show the picture. Like it's that offensive. It's hilarious.
On CNN or what?
Yeah, CNN.
Oh, God.
It's hilarious. Chris Cuomo wanted to do the bit I just did. Fucking lucky rich kid. Yeah. Is Don Lemon around? I'd love to talk to that guy. That's an articulate gutter snap. That's an articulate donkey. You know what? He's not that donkey. He's a brownie. Can I eat some of those brownies? That's enough, Dan. You're getting offended. I'm getting offended. It's ridiculous. But, again, so I try to segue back into what Howard was changing already. And I could not have assimilated. And I think the reason that chair is still empty, it's got nothing to do with my talent. I think it's hard for him to, you got to let someone adjust. You got to work the person into the fabric of the show. And the thing that I had over people, there were a lot of people funnier than me, but I was willing to let my loser stories out. You know, you have a thick skin. And we were so politically incorrect. The show was it was the epicenter of rebellious comedy. And we had a guy who could make $100 million a year and be that way. We did whatever we wanted. And when something like the Janet Jackson thing happened, Howard was a genius and knowing how to work it. I witnessed it. I witnessed that whole transition. Yeah, like we're really offended by the Janet Jackson thing. Come on, baby. More publicity. And that's what he got. And Sirius, you know, if they were smart, just lay back and watch it. You got a front row seat at the master. And that's it. We got so publicity. The publicity we would not have gotten. We were getting suspended. A couple times I was responsible for the suspension. And I was like, this is great. Fucking rock and roll. And what happened was, I'll give you an example. You know, you go through this crazy life of comedy without, I don't know, I'm just trying not to step on landmines. My first stand-up special, It's the Whiskey Talking, was 2003. And Howard watched it. I gave it to Howard. Asked me to have dinner with him. We did this a couple times. Just me and him on the Upper West Side. He would go, so the crowds wouldn't see him. He would go to this really cool little Italian place that they would let him go in before dinner. There was like the Woody Allen joke where he had to have his prom date home by 10. They would watch them set up at the... We'd go there early, and they were literally setting up for the night. We were the only two people in the restaurant getting served, and on a weeknight. And I gave him the tape, and I said, look, I don't have to plug this. I don't want to be a pain in the ass. And I didn't. And he said, no, Art, you know, I appreciate you. It was probably the height of when we were friendly. And he said... you know, it's really nice of you to worry about that. Because I said, I know you don't need any money, but I feel like, you know, the website was just launching back then. It was so funny how technology boomed since then. I said, maybe I could give like a portion of the DVD sales to the website. I just want to help out because I feel terrible. You gave me this great job and I have to plug it. I don't have to plug it. He goes, no, Art, it's fine. And he was very cool with it, and I made good money off it. But he watched it, and I saved this message for a long time. I let friends of mine hear it. He genuinely loved the stand-up. He was like, wow, you know, I quoted with my friends like we do with Chris Rock. He quoted bits. He knew jokes. I knew he wasn't bullshit. He loved it. And that first special, It's the Whiskey Talking, you talk about politically incorrect. Holy shit. There's a bit on there that's based on a true story. I was in a street basketball game with 9 black kids, and I was the only white guy in the game, and they were calling each other the N-word and getting the ball. And I wasn't getting the ball. So the premise is I say, I'm open, nigger. And what would have happened if I said that? And, of course, I get beat up in the premise that I do, the bit I do. But then I do it. It was so fucked up, I felt like I was saying it in slow motion. Then I say the N-word slowly in slow motion twice. It used to destroy. You couldn't even approach doing that bit now. You couldn't approach it. Because the premise is I'm uptight about it. I'm the white guy uptight. In no way is it racist. But to tell the joke and the bit properly, you have to use the full N-word. There's no other way to tell the story. If I say it N-word or I don't say it, I can't do the bit. Makes no sense. So back in 2003, not even that long ago, I committed to doing the full bit. You know, you could, as people listened to context. They don't now. All they hear is the N-word in full, and you're an asshole. You're the Klan. You're the Klan. Bye. You're in the Ku Klux Klan. Dan Adams, we were talking about him before. It happened to him on America's Got Talent. Heidi Klum, of all people, is judging a stand-up comic. Look, Heidi, you know what? As soon as a stand-up comic comes on America's Got Talent, Heidi Klum should just, I'm leaving the room. This makes no sense. I have no right to judge a stand-up comic. No right. You guys judge him. Howard Stern and Howie Mandel, 2 guys could not be more qualified. You do it. I'm leaving. I'm a model who can barely speak English. I'm going to judge a Jewish stand-up comic from Brooklyn? Come on. If a model came out and we were judging her on how she walks on the runway, how she throws up her food after she eats, how she uses the feather. Yes, when you threw up the food was excellent, but you can hold your hair a little better. I'll show you. That's what she should be judging. Not stand-up comedy. And in a joke, a very smart, brilliant joke, by the way, Dan has to use the word German. And since she's a Nazi, that's where she's from. He has to use the word German. And the joke is brilliant. And if she didn't have a look on her face of disgust, the whole place would have laughed, because the people that did hear it and didn't see her guffawed at it because it's hilarious. All she heard was German. None of the time. And she said, that's offensive. You succeeded in offending everyone in the room. That's what that cunt said. Oh, you cunt. How dare you? How dare you? Some of Seal's cum cake in your eye?
No.
You can't see well? That was out of line. That was out of line. Her and Seal were a great couple. I miss those page sixes. Man, when they kissed in public, it was startling. Startling. Very different pigmentation. But, again, so the context. So that bit, I probably said the N-word 80 times. And I taped it in Arizona. A lot of bad optics. But I did it at the Aspen Comedy Festival. But a couple years later, I don't know, the PC generation came in and you couldn't even approach that because people don't listen to the context. A great thing happened on the road. I was the Columbus, Ohio Funny Bone. And there was a black kid who worked as a guy who cleaned as a busboy. And he heard that bit going in and out of the room, and he was offended by it. He didn't hear the whole thing. He just heard me say the N-word in a room full of white people there. And he got offended. I had a late show, and he said, please, I don't want him to do that bit. It's very offensive, or I'm going to quit. And I said, can I talk to the kid? And the manager, I said, do me a favor. I said, I'll cover whatever money it costs. Can you just let him listen to the whole bit? Let him sit in the room. Because he admitted he didn't hear the whole thing. And I said, I'll cover any money it has. I'll double his salary, whatever the fuck it is. I just want him to hear the whole thing. He goes, okay. Now, there was a black family in the front row to the right, paying customers who, they said it was the funniest bit they ever heard. This kid heard the whole thing in the back and came up to me afterward. I'm so glad he was honest, because the kid could have sued or something. People were nervous. He was so fucking honest. He said, I'm glad you did that. It was hilarious. Now, it's a funny story. He said, it's a funny story. It's a story. Howard saw that and loved the whole thing. Different time. And even mentioned it. Robin Quivers saw me do it at Carnegie Hall. I did that whole bit at Carnegie Hall, and Robin went out of her way to say, there's nothing racist about it at all. But it was edgy, it was in there. Times changed quick, though, man. Dan, don't you think, as a guy in radio, that the air of political correctness, it came in quick?
Oh, yes.
You know what I mean? There was the Janet Jackson thing. I released that thing right around then, and that had a lot to do with it. But you probably felt it too.
Yes, and we got there were after that list came out of songs that we were not supposed to play.
Right. What was on there? You were with Dial at the time?
Yes.
So major exposure in Chicago.
Right.
As big as the show gets in Chicago.
And I had just gone back, and our whole history was of 6 years. I would say in that 6 years we got suspended 50 times.
And that was your movie because you were rebellious and funny and the Disco Demolition. What is that about? Well, why do Howard crucified by the FCC? Disco Demolition. What's that about? That's about being rebels. That's fucking rock and roll. That's what it was about. The Rolling Stones didn't go to the fucking Grammy Awards in the 70s. It was fucking goofy. People get slimed now at the Kids' Choice Awards. Paul Newman's not getting slimed. And that's what people loved about you guys. And what was on that list, the songs?
Hold on,
Does anything jump out at you? I remember that too, but we didn't play a lot of songs, though. I mean, we never did.
Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap, Hell's Bells.
Two of the greatest AC/DC songs.
TNT.
All AC/DC shit.
Right. Be A Day in the Life, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds.
A Day in the Life by the fucking Beatles.
Yeah.
Why? What was their problem with A Day in the Life?
Smokin' by Boston.
Oh, God. First of all, let's stop at A Day in the Life. One of the best songs ever. Yeah. Arguably the best. It's classic Lennon and McCartney. Lennon wrote half, McCartney wrote half. It's that studio shit they did that was brilliant. That, I'm dying to hear the rationale behind that. Yeah. I would love to fucking hear the rationale behind that. Well, anyway, so again, I was naive or whatever. I thought we were still in rock and roll mode. I thought we were still in that mode where that rebellious thing. But and again, I don't fault Howard for this at all, but I think what a lot of the fans and me as a fan, remember, because I wasn't just a host of the show. For a longer period of time, I was a fan of that show, a big fan. And getting into comedy didn't change that. I was making money in comedy, but I was still a fan. And every comedian I met that I looked up to and who was smart and funny, and anybody you thought that their act was something you should aspire to be, was a fan of the Howard Stern show. Every one of them got it, got the joke. But clearly what has happened was Howard didn't want to be the guy who bashed, well, she's the most famous, Jennifer Aniston, and people who go to her wedding. He secretly this whole time wanted to be the guy. He wanted to be in that in crowd. He was the guy who was the nerdy guy in high school, but this brilliant kid who looked in that window and saw like the hip kids having dinner. And we all thought he wanted to break through the glass. And when he broke through the glass, say, fuck you, and throw the dinner in their face. That's what I wanted. That's what I still want. I've never stopped wanting it. Howard wanted to break through that glass and go, can I sit down? That's the difference. Howard broke through the glass and said, I'd love to sit and have dinner with you. I, in some ways have broken through the glass and I shit on the table. That's what I want to do, and I still want to do it. I don't want to sit with you people. I don't want to sit with the cast of Friends and tell them your fucking show's great. I want to tell them, no, you've ruined comedy. I don't want to fucking kiss Chelsea Handler's ass. I want to go, you ruined it. You ruined it. You ruined it. Comedy has been given over to the pussies, to the nerds. They took the movies. Every movie's about a fucking comic book now. I don't read a comic book when I was a kid. I was playing stickball. Yeah. But we gave it over to those kids. That's all right if they have a place and we have a place, but let's equal it out here, man. I feel like a black guy. My comedy is no longer welcome in some ways. But then, look, with someone like me, again, I have no right to bitch. Other unbelievably talented guys aren't getting work because I know they're considered politically incorrect, but I still am, so I can't bitch because people like Judd Apatow who run things, they run things. And a kid like Pete Holmes, who's, again, comedy is very different, they look at me and they go, no, we see that maybe you have something to offer, and they give me a job. So, again, I'm really yelling for other people in a way, but I'm no hero here, but I'm saying, I don't know, after the Apatow thing, again, I refilled the prescription. Yeah. And Judd was there. That's a powerful guy. It's just odd. Like, because of my demons, I need to keep making money, and I'm stressed about it. And I see other guys who, quite frankly, I think are funnier than me, and they can't work because we're still that guy. A lot of guys wanted to break into that window, like the metaphor you use there is you break in and one guy, Howard wanted to sit down, and you know what? All those people at the table are all phonies because they said to Howard, sit wherever the fuck you want. Sit wherever you want. Dinner's on us. Take the head of the table. Because what Howard doesn't get is them being with Howard is way cooler for them than it is for him being with those people.
Right.
They look way cooler being Howard's friend. They were scared of him because he was funny. He had substance. He was honest. Howard thinks it's privileged for him to sit there. No, it's the other way around. It's privileged for these idiots to sit with you. And someone as sweet as Beth, quite frankly. I mean, it's like, your New York couple, and he's with the LA types. But I'm not, look, I'm talking like a fan now. I don't know Howard anymore. I used to be a guy I worked with and a friend and a hero that gave me a job. He wanted it to where I was too much of a fuck up, and I get it. I'm not bashing him. I did things that were not right. I let my addictions and my, quite frankly, my the stuff about me that is not an educated guy, the stuff about me that, people who went to college and live sophisticated lives, they're like, well, we're talking about who do we let into our world here? A longshoreman who's a convicted felon from Jersey, who, how to go to summer school and graduate high school. We let this classless guy in. And I don't think Howard thinks that way. Maybe he does. I don't know. But other people in his world probably do and say it. And it's like, you know what? He took himself out. We lucked out. He's alive. That's great. But let him do his own thing. He's not part of this. And I'm cool with that, man. I'm cool with it. Because I would never be a part of it. Not in a minute. I still love Howard. And look, again, how my father acted. My father was a street guy. My father would not tolerate me ever saying something against Howard Stern, because Howard, he would say to me, that guy gave you a fucking job when you needed it. He put food on your table. And you know how much we loved him, because my father loved him too. He wants you to do something, you go do it. And that's how my old man was. It was kind of a street thing, and I would do it. And nothing I wouldn't do for Howard, because he did give me that job. The reason I have this podcast, the reason I still make, fucking $60,000 a night doing stand-up or whatever you want to call it. The reason Judd Apatow knows my name and can give me a job like that is because I was on the Howard Stern show. The reason I have a book out that Judd read is because I'm on the Howard Stern show. And the reason I'm looking at the best view of New York City ever is because I'm on the Howard Stern. The reason Danny's in my life, like a good friend, I had, F. Scott Fitzgerald, who wrote The Great Gatsby, he had a famous quote, there's no second acts in American lives, meaning like you got one shot. And if you make it in that one shot and you blow it, chances are you're not getting another one in America. And I've had about 4 of them. And Howard let me in and gave me the biggest push. And that's it. I'm blessed. I'm fucking blessed. But I gotta say, it's a little disappointing. To be dead honest with you, it's a little disappointing. More than a little. It hurts sometimes where you go like, this guy who I loved and still love and as a friend wrote me off. And even if I wanted to sit at that fucking table, which I don't, he would probably be like, talk to me for a little bit, make it look good, and go, Art, the appetizers are coming. Unless you want to serve them, get out of here. No, it is what it is, man. Yeah, Hunter Thompson. It's funny. Somebody's talking about F. Scott Fitzgerald. Him and Hunter Thompson, who was a guy who wrote, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. 2 rebellious writers from different times. Fitzgerald in the 1920s and Hunter Thompson in the late 1960s and 1970s. And both of them wrote seminal books from that time that people think are like the voice of that time, literature-wise. And one is F. Scott Fitzgerald's Gatsby, and of course, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas by Hunter S. Thompson. Some great critic, it might have been the guy in the Times. He was talking about Hunter S. Thompson and F. Scott Fitzgerald, how they were similar because they were rebels. And Fitzgerald was like Howard. He wanted to break down because they grew up poor, both of them. Wanted to break down those walls with the novels he wrote, like the people that he meets in The Great Gatsby. He wants to be those people. He wanted to get in through his talent, which was writing, and then he wanted to stay there. Hunter S. Thompson wanted to get in and blow the place up. Now, I'm not Howard's peer, fame-wise, but we're talking about me and him, and Hunter S. Thompson's more like me. I want to get in and blow it up, which is dumb. But it's just how I am. It's risk after risk after risk. It's gamble after gamble after gamble. And eventually you don't get the fucking prescription refilled. And you lose the bet and then there's no more cash left. But that's how I am. That's how Thompson was. But Howard is clearly like Fitzgerald. He wants to stay there and hang out. And everything's fine. And I'm willing. And he got there through his talent. His talent was not writing. His talent was on the radio. Being the best guy on the radio ever. That's how he got it. And he's looking to stay. And he's willing to change that thing he's great at. He's willing to stay, to have a seat at that dinner table. He's willing to say, Ellen DeGeneres can dance. And I look forward to it. I'll know forever, Howard. I mean, to me talking that, you don't think that. Believe me, guys, he does not think that. He doesn't look forward to Ellen dancing. The other guy's the honest one. But I don't blame him for wanting to stay there either. Why not? What do you want? What's he gonna do? Tell him to fuck off and hang out with me and Benji and Fred of the deli? Whatever, man. And if you can't be happy in your own world and you want Howard to make you happy, you're a little baby. I'm extremely happy right now. I love my life. My mom, God bless her, got a good bill of health. She looks like she's going to be all right. I went through a tough time with that, and you realize that is all it's about. If my mother couldn't see right now, I wouldn't be happy no matter what table I'm sitting at, quite frankly. Wouldn't mean shit. So you can't. You gotta be you, man. You gotta just. There's nothing I did that I can help you with. I wish you the best. I love you for being a fan of mine, and there's nothing I wouldn't do for you on a practical level. Like, you need a ride somewhere? I don't know. I wouldn't blow you off like that. But eventually, it's you. You gotta pay the ferryman before he takes you to the other side. So my example now is the next special I did was Jack and Coke. And that's an hour and 27-minute set, unedited. Straight hour and a half of stand-up. And to me, it's the best set of stand-up I've ever done that's on tape. I was cooking there. There was, as a comic, and again, I don't think that makes me a great comic. It's just for me. Me personally, that's as good as I've gotten in many ways. I always say Richard Pryor, when he did that classic hour and a half first special, he was 41 years old. And, you're able to be funny, and you've lived life at that age. So it's a good combination. That's when you're at your funniest. Letterman used to say that, too. A guy's his funniest when he's 35 to 40, because you've lived life, and you're funny, and you could explain life. And you're not old. You can move around. Chris Rock, sort of a similar thing. He was always funny, but when Rock came back and wanted to tell you about his life experiences, he was a little older, but not old enough to be a guy who can't take the fucking stage the way he did. And he took the stage in that album and special, Bring the Pain. Bring the Pain is, hey, that's our, this generation's best stand-up ever is that Bring the Pain by Chris Rock. And that brings me to this next point. I think Jack and Coke came out in the fall of 2009. Now, in the 5 years in between those specials, because I toured with the new material quite a bit before I was ready to tape it, I got an offer from Comedy Central they said they'd air it after midnight, and they were going to let me hire my own guys, tape it. I did it at Gotham here, and I did all the Howard TV guys. Doug Goodstein and Scott DePace, produced it and directed it. And we shot 2 sets that night, and, they worked for Howard for years. They know his sensibility, because a lot of it depends on Howard. When you get on the Stern Show, there's a sacrifice you make as a comic. It's not just enough to kill with the audience. You got to make sure Howard likes it, and that's a sacrifice I was willing to make, to sit in that chair. You go from, Funny Bone to Carnegie Hall. That's what I said. 200 people to 4,000. Because you're on that show. So when something that great happens, sacrifices are made. One of them was you wanted Howard to support what you did outside the show. In other words, a Conan O'Brien talk show appearance or Letterman was a lot more pressure. Because, okay, you get by killing with the audience. Now did Howard like it? And you want to make sure you don't disrespect the guy, too. And that was a chore. It really was. So the first one is the Whiskey Talk, and I killed with the audience. People liked it, and Howard liked it. It was a home run. Home run. But those winds started changing that me and Dan were talking about with the PC Police. And now my second special comes out. I tape it. I'm thrilled with it. I could not have killed any harder. Now I'm like, does Howard like it? Because now you want to sell it. After it's on Comedy Central, I got a nice chunk of change from them. God bless them. And again, that's not possible without Howard. And then you want to sell DVDs. So you want Howard to like it and push it in a real way. So I gave it to Howard, and I know Howard. I didn't need anybody to tell me that it killed with the audience. I knew it did. But Howard, in a very passive-aggressive way, complimented it, and I could tell he does not like something on this. And my stomach just fell. I'm like, fuck. It was more disappointing than if I bombed with the audience. He was offended by something that made him angry. I could tell the way his tone of voice was. And I started to think, again, Doug Goodstein and I went through that tape, and Doug knew him very well, too. Like, what won't he like? We got enough funny shit here to where, we could take shit out. And the version I showed him, there was one bit I was on the fence about. And fuck, I know for a fact, he's never said it to me, but I know for a fact, this is what happened. Especially thinking now, having the vision of the hindsight of vision of now, knowing that he had probably read that book already and was trying to transition into a show where you didn't hear offensive words in any context. In any context. Knowing that, holy shit, did I fuck up. There's a bit, true story, based on when Chris Rock came into the show a few years back. And now, to me, I'm not trying to hurt anybody. To me, this makes Howard and the show and Chris Rock look like rock and roll, rebellious, the coolest motherfuckers on the planet. It makes the show look so cool to me that Howard and Rock are two guys probably with IQs north of 140. Just having fun, busting each other's balls here. And that's what Howard's doing, and Rock is able to say, you don't get anything over on me, man. I know what you're doing. I'm pointing it out, and that's funny. Because Rock is probably, according to Howard, and I agree, that at that point, and maybe still now, the funniest comic in the last 30 years. Just a brilliant guy. And Rock respects that Howard might be the best radio guy ever. Just a brilliant guy. And to me, what this story represents is two guys on a level of political incorrectness where they're saying, fuck off. We can talk like this, and you're not coming to get us. We're above you, PC police. You can't get us. In reality, I think Rock, if you ever heard this, might think that way, and it doesn't really affect him at all. But Howard had already made a transition where when he heard this, he probably got livid. Like, I can't do what I want to do. And Artie's, quite frankly, in the way now. And again, this is me thinking. He never said this. So how do I tell Artie that this isn't working anymore after almost a decade? And the heroin did it for him. Now, when my father died, my mother was relieved. But she was sad. Howard wasn't hoping I had a heroin overdose. But in a way, that took me out of the equation, and it just made, I'm not trying to give myself a lot of self-importance there, because ultimately it's about Howard. But one other headache he would have had to transition into this show where it's not Gary the Retard, it's Gary the Conqueror. To transition into that show about cats and stuff, it's one less obstacle. The Artie years are now over. And after a billion questions were asked, even in the guy did a Rolling Stone article, the Rolling Stone reporter asked about me, caller after caller, he finally blew up and said, don't ask me anymore. The Artie years, he said it, are done. I love him, it was great, but the Artie years are over. So get over it. And, that's it. You move on. But I wonder if it would have been a situation where, I don't even know if I would have wanted to do this, but I wonder if it would have been a situation where he at least would be willing to talk it out if he didn't hear this bit you're about to hear from Jack and Coke. Right before I stabbed myself, I told my lawyer in California, take this bit out of the Comedy Central special. To this day, I don't know if he did it. I don't know. I've never seen the thing in full. I don't think it's in the special because I would have heard a reaction from it. I've talked to Chris Rock since then. I think it's such a crazy story. But this story you're going to hear, the other thing, is a true story. It really happened. I exaggerate the end, or I speed up Howard's reaction to it at the end. But Rock really said this, and this is me telling a story. I was proud of the way I was able to tell a story. The crowd clearly loves it, and they're thinking it's the rebellious thing where it's Howard being rebellious and Chris Rock being rebellious, and that's what's so fucking cool about it. But Howard didn't want that, and that's my fault. So based on knowing that Gary the Retard is now Gary the Conqueror, picture Howard hearing this bit on Jack and Coke and wondering, how the fuck do I get rid of Artie? So I've been on the Howard Stern Show for 8 years now, guys. And Howard's the best. It really is the greatest show ever, man. Howard created the greatest show of all time. And it's an honor to be there. A lot of people say to me, Art, what's a really good inside story about the show? And I have a great one. This is one of my favorite things that happened on the show. I like guests that are smart and funny and get the show. That's why one of my favorite guests of all time is the great Chris Rock. We all love Chris Rock. So, about 7 years ago, we were still on terrestrial radio, whatever the fuck that means. K-Rock, that's where we were.
And Chris Rock was on the show. And Rock, he's as smart as Howard. He's as funny as Howard. He just gets how the show works. He's a brilliant comedic mind. And that's why, like, Howard can't get anything over on him. He's a fan and he listens to the show. So a great fucking thing happened. Howard does a half-hour interview with Rock. As usual, Rock is great. It's an awesome interview. And then Howard says, hey, Chris, why don't we go to the phones and see what the fans want to say to you? So Chris, who knows how the show works, goes, here's where I get called a nigger. The guests at that time didn't realize was where I sat in the old place, I could see Howard's computer screen in front of him, and it had all the phone calls on it, and it had the person's name, where they were from, and what they wanted to say when they got on the air. Howard could see it, I could see it, but the guests couldn't see it. So after Rock goes, here's where I get called a nigger, I look at Howard's computer screens, and I swear to God, these are the first 3 phone calls. Number 1, Vinny in Queens wants to call Chris a nigger. Number 2, Joey in Staten Island thinks Chris is a nigger. And then, unfortunately, this is sad, but not to leave out my hometown, Eddie in Jersey. You're not going to clap in a second. Eddie in Jersey asks the intelligent question, why is Chris such a nigger? And the 4th one wanted to call me fat and Casey gay. So after that happens, and Rock says, here's where I get called a nigger, Howard looks at the phone calls, and this is what's so great about Howard. This is why he's the best ever. He looks at Rock and he goes, oh, come on, Chris, I would never do that to you. We're friends, man. You think I'd fuck with you like that? Come on, man. Oh, he didn't say fuck. We were on terrestrial radio. You think I'd mess with you like that? Honestly, we're friends. We hang out after the show. I'm insulted you think I'd let a racist on my show. Come on, Chris. And Rock is like, whatever, man, whatever. Then there's a pause, and Howard goes, Vinny in Queens, you're on the air. It ain't The View, man. It's the Howard Stern Show, by the way.
All right. I misread it. Listen, obviously you can see how much the fans love the rebelliousness of it. I'm proud of that because, it's me at the height of being able to tell a story well. And Howard taught me how to tell stories better. Chew off the fat, and it's timing. It's as good as I ever got at stand-up. There's an arc. And... and the fans are just your biggest thing you want as a comic is you want to make a connection with the fans, and I have a connection with those people. We're all in on the same thing, and a lot of it has to do not just with my comedy, it's with the Stern Show that we all loved. And again, that really happened. He really did say, I mean, again, how great is Rock that he would say that too? It's like, man, I always stuck in my head. And the calls are a little exaggerated for comedy, but that was the theme of the calls. A couple of them. And Howard, played with it a little longer. It's a stand-up bit. But it's nothing that I'm, weird about saying. It happened. And, in hindsight, Doug Goodstein did say, I don't know. But Doug said, he goes, no, that's the show. It's what makes the show so cool. So Doug was in the same mindset, too. And I don't blame anything on Doug. It was my call. But I said, okay, show it to him. And knowing how he was trying to transition with the way the winds were blowing in show business, he just had to be like, you know what? And he had a right to be like this. It's like, Artie represents the show on a lot of levels, even though he had a career before and hopefully he'll have a career after. It's just not going to work. Now, I knew he hated it. and I refused to bring it up at the end of every show. And the people I had to deal with were like, "You got to plug it," you know. I'm like, "Well, Comedy Central's gonna have to plug it because I'm not doing that to me or Howard. It's too awkward. I'm not gonna bring it up. It doesn't exist as far as I'm concerned." And Howard seemed fine with that. And a couple weeks later, I stabbed myself on heroin, and I basically never saw Howard again. Whatever. It is what it is. And again, I'm not saying this because I'm bitter in any way, shape, or form. I'm saying it because it really is on people's minds lately. And what happened? Like people really ask, why are you not in there? I guess what happened was that Jimmy Kimmel sat in the chair one day, and there were a ton of people on Twitter like, why doesn't he have you sit in the chair? And I'm like, guys, you know, I'm not in that world anymore. And quite frankly, I don't care. I did care, but you move on. I'm happy I moved on. I'm happy with my work. I love this podcast. I love it. I love being able to tell this story. Like, I just told you a story I could never tell anywhere else but this podcast.
Yeah, that's for sure.
You know, quite frankly, people wouldn't give a shit anywhere else. Vinny Monroy, Monica. No, I do. Vinny, I say Torelli, whoever I'm missing. You know, Monica, I love you all. You make this show work, and we're making a living. How funny is that? But make no mistake, I wouldn't take that bit off that DVD for anything. It's on iTunes, by the way. Check it out. You know, that's one bit and one story. 95% of that stand-up DVD is stuff that has nothing to do with Witch Stern. It's about my life. It's about my issues, and it's almost every inch of it is new material to that DVD, and I'm so fucking proud of it. And I'm proud of telling a story that kills that hard. And I'm proud of the connection I have. And it's true. And I think it makes Rock and Howard look cool as fucking hell. I don't care what they say. You know what? Just don't play it at Matthew Perry's house for Thanksgiving. What do I give a shit? But I love Howard for what he did for me. He did everything for me. And that's the reason. It's just not going to happen. I am written off there. But because of what my father said and the loyalty and what he did do for me and the kind of way I was brought up, if Howard asked me to come on, I'd do it in a heartbeat if he really wanted me to. I said, if Howard wants me to do it, I'll do it. But that ain't going to happen, guys. And I'm fine with it. I've said that before. I'll say it again for new subscribers. So let's all move down that road together in a happy kumbaya moment. Move into my enclosure. This is Roger Ailes. We'll do a lot of that. I want to do some Roger Ailes stuff, but that was draining. I wanted to get that out of the way because that bit came to mind when this kid said that. And I said, oh, well, you know what? I'm going to answer this kid. I have a podcast. The kid asked me, so I'm going to answer him for an hour and a half. How long was that, Danny?
About 2.
About 2 hours. Okay, we're through with this end of it. That's some closure. That's some closure. Closure. Tomorrow I'm doing the coolest thing ever. Dirty Work, my first movie, buddy comedy I do with Norm Macdonald. He's the other buddy. Written by Frank Sebastiano, Norm Macdonald, and the great Fred Wolf. Directed by the great Bob Saget. I met Frank on this, a Jersey guy who directed Beer League and wrote it with me. And did a bunch of other things. I met Norm Macdonald. I did a sitcom with Freddie Wolf. Was great. Saget. This was my intro into movies. Dirty Work, another whole part of my life. This represents another chapter. In some ways, this is the exact ways. It's how I met Howard. We went in to promote this movie, me and Norman. The rest is history. But it's been getting a lot of love. Beer League and Dirty Work have been getting a lot of love lately in the cult hit status thing. And a big website came out and said Dirty Work is possibly, in our opinion, it is the most underrated comedy of the last 30 years. It's pretty impressive. And Frank Sebastiano, Freddie, and Norm, and Saget, I know how much they'd love that. So I hope they see it. The Vanity Fair, this is no bullshit thing. Vanity Fair and Variety asked me to go to the screening. They're doing a screening of it at the Nighthawk Cinema in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. Yeah, very hip. Williamsburg, Brooklyn. You know, I know it's hip. Anthony Bose lives there. They're doing a screening of the movie. It's sold out. Screening sold out very quickly. And after the screening, there's a Q&A with a guy from Vanity Fair. It's as hip and big as it gets. And they're going to ask me about what it was like to do Dirty Work, which they think is underrated and a cult. And they said cult classic, one guy said. I said, let's get it straight here. Kids come up to me and say, Artie, Dirty Work's my favorite movie. I go, you really should rent The Deer Hunter. So I'm doing that tomorrow. Carr is going to be here at 5:30 and Q&A. Nighthawk Cinema. If you want to stand outside and talk to me afterwards and you're a hot chick, come by. All right, so that's that. That's my life. Got a lot of great things coming up. Go to artiequitter.com. I'm doing stand-up at the Foxwoods Casino coming up. I'm at Caroline September 16th and 17th, mid-September. Always great to do Caroline's. Borgata, again, the crowd there was amazing. Thank you. Listen to this podcast. You're going to get your normal set or about that of podcast this week and next week. And then Danny and I are going to take the last week of August through Labor Day off. And but you never know with us. There could be content. All right? So that's the story, guys. I don't know what to tell you. I wish you nothing but the best. And people on Twitter know when they've reached out for me, young comics, I try to help them. But, guys, you got it tougher than me and my whole generation. I could not imagine trying to be a comedian with Twitter and all the social media shit. The immediate vitriol, bile that comes out if they see you at a club and don't like you. Even if they like you, they make it up. And they have anonymity. It's a terrible, weird time. But if you got it in you guys, and I did, you can't do anything else, you got to do it. Do it. If there's a way I can help you